What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In the last video, I attempted to sand the clear coat runs out of the front lip. Unfortunately, I was unsuccessful with one spot. I burned through it a little bit. I was able to sand all of the little dirt and dust nibs out of the rear aprons. I got them all shined up and polished and got them installed on the Evo. They turned out really, really nice. So for this video, I'm going to finish up the front lip. I'm gonna get the rest of the runs sanded down, and then I will scuff up the rest of the front lip, and then I will touch up the spots where I sanded with the base, and then I will respray everything with the clear, and then I will get it installed on the car. Stay tuned. I've got a lot of stuff laid out so far. So for the paint, I've got everything already set up. I already know what I need to do since I've already done it once. So I'll go over that later when I actually do my painting. But for now, I want to get the front lip actually sanded and scuffed up. So I've got some sanding pads. I've got 400 and 600. I'm just going to finish sanding down those runs. If I break through the clear coat, it is what it is. I'm going to respray some of the base anyway. I've got the tool cut system. I'm probably not going to be using the actual sanding pads. I'm just going to be using the little rubber pieces that it comes with. I also went ahead and got the little gray automotive scuff pads out. I don't know that I'll use these. I may just end up sanding everything with sandpaper, but I've got my large block for the bigger areas. What I want to get started with is just getting everything sanded down. So here's the big run. If you didn't see the last video, it's all the way over, and then right here is where I actually burned through. For the most part, this is the only spot. All the other ones I was able to actually sand out and polish out really well. So I'm going to get all of this sanded down, and then once this thing is all sanded and scuffed up, I will get it prepped for paint. Finished sanding the rest of the run down right here, and then I scuffed the rest of it up with 600 grit, so you can kind of see in the light there where the dull and the shiny spots are. Now that I have this thing all ready for paint, I'm going to go ahead and get the garage masked off. I'm probably not going to be doing any painting today, but I still want to get this thing ready to go. And since I'm not having to spray this entire thing with base coat, I didn't want to have to actually mix it up in my regular gun. So I ran up to Harbor Freight and I picked up one of these little mini HVLP guns. They do have a little purple gun that's a mini gun, and I think it's like around $15. This one was $35, but I liked it because it came with the regulator and it was top feed. The little purple one feeds in from the side, but I figured this would make it a lot easier to hit those little spots. I'm gonna bust this thing out and get it all put together and cleaned up if I need to, and then get the garage masked off for paint. It's been a few days. I've got everything masked off in the garage. I still got to get the front lip cleaned up really good before I actually spray the base coat. And then I've got my fan up front to just kind of help draw those fumes out. I also got the gun cleaned up the other day. So I just broke it all down and then I ran some lacquer thinner through it, sprayed the lacquer thinner through the gun, cleaned everything out really good. It actually comes pretty decent from the box. That's ready to go. So the main issue that I had with these runs on the front last time is because I had really crappy lighting. I obviously have no lighting in this little area right here. I was basically just using the sun on this side, and then you can kind of use a little bit of the light over here on this side, but it's not great. What I picked up is this at Harbor Freight. It's actually an underhood light. I've actually already opened this one. I went ahead and got this just because it came with the little arm. It's an extra $40, so you get the little arm, and I can use it inside the car and kind of under the hood and things. But what is really impressive are these lights. It kind of sucks because this thing only comes with one, so you have to buy an extra, which is what I did. And then I've already got the first one set up over here. So this is just like an old IV pole that was thrown out, and I'm using it. It's holding the light right here. I will open this one up and probably just kind of mount it somewhere over here. These things have magnetic pieces on the bottom, but they will not stick to this. But the light output is insane. You can kind of see what it does there. It really illuminates this thing. I should easily be able to see that paint being laid on this side. And then, like I said, my plan was with the second one, just kind of have that one angled over this way. This stuff up here is not too hard to lay flat. It's just these really, really vertical pieces. So now that everything's ready, I'm going to get the lip cleaned up. I'm going to get it cleaned with just some soapy water, really, really good. And then I will probably hit it with some sort of degreaser. And then once it's all cleaned up, I will get the base coat mixed up and get ready to shoot. Base coat is all touched up and it is completely dry now. So here's that little area that I burned through. And there was a couple of little spots on the back side of this that I kind of didn't hit really well. The little minigun worked really well. I went ahead and got it all cleaned up with the lacquer thinner, so it's ready to spray again if I need it to. If you didn't see the original painting video, here's the paint that I'm using. So it's this Matrix brand, and then there's the W37 Wicked White Code. And here is the reducer. I am using the slow because it is very hot outside. For this, it mixes 1-to-1, so just half base coat and half reducer, and you're ready to spray. Now that the base coat is all finished, I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to spray the clear. I'm gonna get the lip cleaned up one more time, really, really good. And then I will get the clear coat mixed up and in the gun, and hopefully get this thing shiny without any runs. I just finished spraying the clear coat. The gun is all cleaned up, but I have come to the assumption that I am possibly the worst painter in the entire world when it comes to clear coat. So another small run right there, the same place that I burned through before. There's another big long sag right here, and the worst one of all. So all the way over, it literally sags the entire distance here. I can't even begin to describe to you how disheartening this is. I'm gonna let everything dry overnight, and I'm going to tackle the wet sanding one more time and see if I can't get these runs out like that. The one good thing about these runs is they are fairly flat. Unlike the big giant run that I had over here last time, I was sanding for so long. I think that's why I finally burned through. But I will catch back up with you guys in a day or two and see what I can do. It's been a couple of days. The clear coat is completely dry now. One more look at all of the runs. So there's one small one on this side, and then I've got a couple of small ones right here, and then a sag going all the way over. And there's a big long run and sag all the way across this thing. I don't want to make this part of the video very long. I was already disappointed because of the fact that I have runs. So let me show you what I've got. This is everything that I used in the last video when I sanded it the first time, and then I also sanded and polished up the rear aprons there. I'm going to be using this toll cut system. I will be using some of the sandpaper, but I'm mainly using it for these little blocks. I've just got some regular sandpaper. I probably won't use the 400. I'll just use the 600 to initially knock down the runs, and then I will move on to the toll cut system and just use some of this finer grit sandpaper to knock the scratches down. And then lastly, I've got some P2000 that I will do right before I polish up. Finally, some success with sanding these clear coat runs. So I think I've figured out the process. If you look at it with the light here, you can kind of see where the areas were sagging at. This light underneath here is just kind of showing off those little low and high areas. But if you actually touch this thing, it feels very, very smooth to the touch. So I know that when I polish this out, it will look nice and shiny everywhere. Same thing with this top section up here. And then I did also do this little piece over here on the side, but my camera, I forgot to turn it on to film it. The process that I used though, I started off with the 600. I used 600 wet sanding to take the runs all the way down. And then I used this K1500 on the toll cut system. This is supposed to cut like a 1000 to 1200, but leave 1500 grit scratches. And then I finish it up with this P2000 sandpaper. Finally, no burn throughs. Everything looks good. I should be able to use the compound and the polish and get this thing nice and shiny, and then I will get it installed on the Evo. Front lip is finally on. I'm so happy to finally have this thing done, painted, sanded, and not have any runs. Here's the main area right here that I sanded and polished down. Everything came out so good. And this one along this whole edge just came out absolutely perfect. I'm not actually going to completely install the front lip. I'm not going to install the hardware, and I'll show you why. I'm actually going to redo the hardware on the back of this one as well. Here's the hardware that they give you for the front lip. So it's 2 bolts, 2 nuts, and then 2 screws. But it's going to be a pain in the butt to get the bumper off if I have to take these nuts off of the back every single time. So I was watching a video by the Evo King himself, Devin Nimiella. He was showing you just kind of take the inside of this out, pop the inside piece back in there, and then the front lip actually just goes over the top of this. And then from there, you just feed a self-tapping screw through the hole, and it actually threads into this. The problem right now, the self-tapping screws that I have are all too small for this, and they are all silver. I would like to get black hardware. I do have these two, but I don't want to put them on there right now because whatever hardware I end up getting, I want to make sure that it all matches. So for now, I am going to end the video here. If you like the video, please hit that like button. If you want to see more going on with the car, please hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you guys next time.